Sometimes the greatest wonders on Earth are not found in mountains or oceans, but hidden between two branches. There, a small winged being works in silence, carrying leaves, drops of mud, and threads of life. It does not build out of pride. It builds out of love, instinct, and faith in the morning to come. In every nest, there is a story of courage, dedication, and hope. These are homes made with heart and time, where nature shows its purest form, where every bird is an artist and every nest is living proof that beauty exists even in the smallest hands of the Creator. But before we begin, subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now, let's get started. Number 24, the silken nest of the Tailor bird, nature's suspended jewel. In the humid forests of northern Australia and the Moluccan Islands, where the air is thick and the green seems endless, lives one of the greatest artisans of the natural world, the Tailor bird, Philemon boceroides. Little known outside its habitat, it is one of the quietest symbols of wildlife ingenuity. Among moss-covered trunks, entwined vines, and a constant chorus of insects, this bird builds something that no other creature on the planet can reproduce with such delicacy. A nest made of silk, not ordinary silk, but a living, vibrant fabric that reflects morning light as if it were spun by the clouds themselves. The Tailor bird is not extravagant in appearance. Its body, covered in brown and discreet plumage, blends perfectly with the branches. Nothing in its coloring hints at the artistic spectacle it can create. It is precisely this simplicity that makes its work extraordinary. From an apparently ordinary being arises one of the most exquisite and ingenious works in the natural world. The process begins at the start of the rainy season, when the warmth of the soil awakens millions of invisible forms of life. The air fills with moisture, and tiny spider webs start glistening among the branches. This is when the Tailor bird begins its ancestral ritual. It searches for the finest and strongest threads from abandoned webs, pieces of cocoons, and fragments of plant fibers, carefully plucked with surgical precision. Each thread is examined, tested, and rolled carefully in its beak. Then, with rhythmic and controlled movements, it begins to weave. There is no hurry, no error. Every pull, loop, and tie has a purpose, as if the bird follows an invisible pattern passed down through generations. The result is a nest that seems to defy physics, a translucent structure, light as air, yet strong enough to withstand tropical storms. The Tailor bird's nest has a hanging cup shape with a network of silky threads intersecting and intertwining so precisely that it could inspire any human architect. It sways gently in the wind but never breaks. Rain droplets slide over the silk like pearls on glass, and the morning dew makes the structure sparkle like a floating jewel. The choice of materials is not random. The silk is waterproof, elastic, and capable of withstanding large temperature variations. Inside, the bird adds moss fragments, down, and fine fibers, creating a perfect microclimate for the eggs, warm enough to incubate them and light enough to allow air circulation. It is a delicate balance, achieved through thousands of years of evolution and refined instinct. The females, in turn, are exacting judges. They assess not only the shape, but also the tension and harmony of the nest. A loose or poorly positioned thread can be reason enough for abandonment. Among these birds, mate selection depends directly on the quality of the nest, a clear demonstration of skill, patience, and dedication. Natural selection in this case translates into art. Only the best architects pass on their genes. Among the dense trees where the Tailor bird lives, the sounds of its construction echo like an almost musical whisper. The gentle brushing of fibers, the flapping of wings to adjust angles, the beak stitching the invisible. Those lucky enough to witness the process understand why the native peoples of the region consider this bird a weaving spirit, a messenger of the gods of air and forest. For them, the nest symbolizes harmony, the union of lightness and strength, the ephemeral and the eternal, silk and the biology of natural architecture. The silk used by the Tailor bird is a natural compound of fibrous proteins similar to those produced by spiders and some insects. It is primarily composed of fibroin, a molecule of remarkable strength capable of withstanding stress without breaking. Recent studies indicate that the bird not only collects webs, but also chemically modifies them with beak secretions, making them stronger and more adhesive. This transforms the Tailor bird into a true biochemical engineer. This evolutionary innovation is an example of biological convergence. emergence, different species developing similar solutions to identical problems. Just as spiders weave their webs and silkworms build cocoons, the tailor bird creates a suspended structure that combines lightness, flexibility, and thermal protection, characteristics human engineers try to replicate in modern materials. Researchers at the University of Queensland have studied the tension patterns of its nests to inspire the design of synthetic fabrics and ultralight structures. The tailor bird's architecture is not only beautiful, it is functional, rational, and optimized. It uses minimal material for maximum strength. The fibers follow spiral patterns, forming angles that dissipate wind energy. This natural load distribution technique is the same used in suspension bridges and modern domes. The bird, without formulas or calculations, accomplishes what human engineers took centuries to understand. Cultural symbolism. Among indigenous communities in northern Australia, the tailor bird is called Yarunga, meaning the spinner of light. For them, the nest is a spiritual symbol, representing the connection between sky and earth. Tribes believe that the silk fibers used by the bird are threads of destiny, linking the spirit of the forest to the human heart. In coming-of-age rituals, fragments of abandoned nests were used as amulets of protection and wisdom. In contrast, on the Moluccan Islands, an ancient legend tells that the tailor bird was the first being to teach humans to weave. The story says that a young woman observed the bird stitching its nest and, inspired, created the first fishing net. Since then, the bird is considered the patron of local artisans and fishermen. Its ability to transform the invisible, nearly imperceptible silk threads into shelter is seen as a daily miracle. Comparisons with other weaver birds. The tailor bird's nest is often compared to African weavers, Plosidae, known for creating true spheres of intertwined grass. But while those birds rely on strength and volume, the tailor bird emphasizes lightness and precision. It is a difference in philosophy. While African weavers build fortresses, the tailor bird builds poetry. Other birds, such as the red-billed weaver, create entire colonies of interconnected nests, forming aerial metropolises. The tailor bird, however, works alone, silently, isolated in its small territory. Its nest is unique. No two are alike. Every curve and thread adapts to a specific branch, a particular wind direction, a singular microclimate. It is personalized, living, and mutable architecture. The work and time. When the chicks hatch, the nest becomes an entire world. The silky fibers absorb body heat and distribute it evenly. The constant swaying keeps the air fresh and prevents moisture buildup. After a few weeks, the young begin to explore the nest's edge, testing their wings against the wind that rocked them since birth. When they finally leave, the tailor bird abandons its creation. The empty nest sways for days until time takes it. The sun fades it, the rain thins it, the wind dismantles it, and the cycle begins again. There is a melancholy beauty in this. The tailor bird creates something of almost divine perfection, then lets it vanish without looking back. Perhaps this is the greatest lesson it offers, that the purest art is the one that accepts impermanence. Reflections on nature and art. Number 23. The Mud Castle of the Flame-Crested Hornero. In the sunny fields of northern Argentina and the savannas of Bolivia lives a discreet yet brilliant engineer, the flame-crested hornero, a close relative of the rufous hornero, known for turning clay into living architecture. With a melodious, penetrating song, the pair works in perfect harmony, collecting wet clay, twigs, and dry straw to erect a sturdy structure on posts, branches, and even rural rooftops. Unlike its famous cousin, the flame-crested hornero builds two interconnected chambers. The first serves as an entrance and protection, and the second as a heated nursery for chicks. Its shape resembles a miniature castle, with thick walls that resist rain, wind, and the scorching sun of the Argentine pampas. At night, the clay walls retain heat, creating a cozy environment. During the day, the interior remains cool and ventilated. The female lays 3 to 4 eggs, and both parents take turns caring for them, feeding the chicks insects and seeds. At sunset, the hornero's song echoes across the fields, and its nests, illuminated by the last rays, resemble tiny clay beacons, eternal symbols of love, cooperation, and resilience. Number 22. The Bahia Weaver's Nest. In southern and southeastern Asia, among rice fields and palm trees, lives the brilliant Bahia weaver, a yellow jewel that transforms leaves into art. The male is both engineer and artist with surgical precision, weaving palm fibers, dry grass, and strips of long leaves into a nest that hangs over water like a hand-woven pouch. The droplet-shaped structure can reach up to 60 centimeters in length and includes a hanging entrance tunnel, an ingenious strategy to keep snakes and lizards away. The interior is cozy, ready to shelter the female's eggs. But first, the nest must pass a test. It is the stage of courtship. For up to 18 days, the male sings and displays his master pie. If the female disapproves, he abandons it all and starts over. Some weavers construct up to 25 nests per season, a marathon of patience and passion. Among threads and songs, the Bahia Weaver shows that even in the jungle, love is an art built with dedication. Number 21. The Montezuma Oropendola Nest. In the humid forests of Central America, the wind sways hundreds of hanging nests like living golden lanterns. These are the homes of the Montezuma Oropendola, majestic birds with black plumage and golden yellow tails that transform entire trees into suspended cities. Each female builds her own nest, a hanging pouch made of dried roots, plant fibers, and thin stems woven with perfection. These structures can reach up to 1.8 meters in length and sway like bells among the treetops. But the secret to their survival lies in the location. They prefer trees inhabited by giant wasps, Vespa tropica. The fierce insects act as involuntary guardians, keeping snakes and other invaders away. Amid the buzzing of wasps and the sunlight filtering through leaves, the scene seems taken from a divine tale of cooperation among species. The Montezuma Oropendola is the perfect balance between beauty and strategy, a spectacle of tropical ingenuity. Number 20. The floating nest of the African Jacana actiphilornis africana, affectionately called Jesus' bird. The African jacana glides over the surface of ponds as if walking on water. Its long legs and extremely slender toes distribute weight over aquatic vegetation, creating the miraculous effect that enchants observers across the continent. Its true genius, however, lies in family life. Here, females dominate. They are larger, mate with multiple males, and leave the responsibility of fatherhood entirely to them. The male builds a floating nest made of leaves and aquatic plants, anchored with precision to withstand wind and currents. If the water level rises, he moves the nest with his beak and wings, adjusting the home like an experienced sailor. The female lays 4 to 5 eggs, and the male incubates them for about 24 days, protecting them from jostles, rain, and predators. The chicks hatch ready for the world, swimming, diving, and walking within hours. It is a spectacle of balance and tenderness, proof that in nature, paternal care is also a divine form of love. Number 19. The natural oven of the megapod. Megapodius freycinet in the tropical forests of northern Australia and New Guinea. The megapode, known as the mound builder or big-footed turkey, is an unparalleled engineer. This robust bird, with powerful legs and a vigilant gaze, does not incubate its eggs with its body. Instead, it builds a colossal mound of leaves, sand, and twigs. A living incubator heated by the decomposition of organic matter. Some mounds reach 4.5 meters in width and 1 meter in height, constantly monitored by the male, who acts as a perfect biological thermostat. With its beak and feet, it checks the internal temperature, adding or removing material as necessary. Incubation is maintained between 32 and 35 degrees Celsius, ideal for the embryo's development. When the chicks hatch, they emerge fully feathered and ready to fly, having never seen their parents, a rare phenomenon among birds. This silent and precise cycle makes the megapode a symbol of nature's instinctive wisdom, a guardian of ancient incubation techniques predating even human civilization. Top 18 birds that build incredible nests. Number 18. The skyscrapers of the monk parakeets, Myopsida monachus. Colorful, intelligent, and incredibly social, the monk parakeet, also called the Quaker parrot, is the only parrot capable of constructing permanent communal nests. Native to South America, it lives in noisy, cooperative flocks capable of building true airborne cities. Their constructions can weigh more than 200 kilos and house up to 20 pairs, each with its private compartment and access corridor. These nests, made of dry twigs and branches woven together, are built in trees, power towers, or even urban antennas. Each generation adds to and reinforces the structure with new materials. This communal life offers warmth, protection from water, snakes, and hawks, and a strong social support network. The monk parakeet is also a symbol of urban adaptation, having colonized cities in Europe and the United States, facing cold with the same courage it demonstrates under the South American sun. Amid the branches, their calls echo like a celebration of friendship and unity, proof that the strength of the group is nature's greatest shelter. Number 17. The little genius, the penduline tit, Remys pendulinus. Measuring only 8 cm in length, the penduline tit of Africa and Europe is tiny but a monumental engineer. It builds nests resembling small cotton spheres, suspended from the thinnest willow and tamarisk branches, always near water. These delicate creations are made of plant fibers, spider silk, hair, and even seed down, making them as light as clouds yet surprisingly strong. The security system is ingenious. The nest has 2 entrances. The visible false entrance leads to an empty chamber, a trap to fool snakes and lizards. The true entrance is hidden beneath a movable flap of woven fibers, which the bird carefully opens and closes with each visit. This level of architectural sophistication is unmatched among birds of its size. The penduline tit proves that genius does not depend on size, but on the ability to transform instinct into art and vulnerability into ingenuity. Number 16. The mud huts of the red-fronted swallow, Cecrops aurica. In the open landscapes of Eurasia, where the wind sweeps freely over valleys and cliffs, the red-fronted swallow builds mud nests that resemble sculptures suspended in time. Measuring only 14 cm in length, it uses its beak like a small trowel, shaping over 1,000 pellets of mud for each nest. The bottle-shaped structure has a narrow, curved tunnel leading to the inner chamber, protecting chicks from sun, wind, and predators. These birds build their homes in massive colonies, which can include thousands of nests side by side on cliffs, viaducts, and even under urban bridges. Together they form living walls of mud and wings, vibrating with the sounds of chicks and the relentless beating of wings. Beyond their beauty, this collective life ensures safety and shared learning. Every flight, every ball of mud is a gesture of cooperation. The red-fronted swallow is an artist demonstrating that patience and unity can transform even mud into living poetry. Number 15. The architect of romance. Vogelkop bowerbird, also known as Amblyornis or Nornata, in the misty forests of western Papua, lives a bird that transforms love into art. The Vogelkop bowerbird, small and inconspicuous with brown plumage, it becomes a seduction architect during breeding season. The male builds impressive structures, true conical pavilions up to 1.5 meters wide, made of branches, moss, and leaves. But what truly fascinates is the interior. He decorates it with colorful flowers, wild fruits, shiny seeds, metallic beetles, and even human objects like glass shards or bottle caps. Each detail is placed with aesthetic rigor, respecting symmetry, tone, and contrast. These temples of love do not house eggs. They are courtship stages where the female, like a demanding judge, inspects every centimeter before deciding if the builder is worthy of her heart. If she disapproves, the male demolishes everything and starts over. The competition is fierce. Some even steal decorations from neighbors. It is a spectacle showing that even in the jungle, beauty can be key to survival, a living museum of natural art. Number 14. The mud baker, Rufus hornero, Furnarius rufus. Across the fields and cities of South America, the Rufus hornero is one of the continent's most beloved birds, symbolizing work, loyalty, and ingenuity. With orange feathers and a vigilant gaze, this small architect builds mud ovens on branches, fences, and even posts. Using clay, straw, grass, and animal hair, the pair shapes a 30 cm diameter house, weighing around 5 kilograms with a curved corridor leading to the main chamber, protecting chicks from wind, rain, and predators. These masterpieces can last for years, resisting storms and being reused by owls, swallows, and lizards. The Rufus hornero mates for life, and both work tirelessly to perfect every curve of the construction. Interestingly, depending on the climate, they adjust the entrance orientation, facing north in cold southern Argentina and south in warm regions of Brazil. If the result is unsatisfactory, they tear it down and start over. It is the perfect portrait of perseverance and love. When a home is sacred, nature becomes an architect of emotion. Number 13. The underground tunnels of the European bee-eater. Merops apiaster, colorful as a living painting, the European bee-eater is one of the world's most beautiful and precise birds. With a golden chest, green wings, and turquoise throat, it transforms sandy riverbanks in Europe and North Africa into vibrant underground cities. Dedicated pairs dig tunnels up to 3 meters long with round chambers at the end, where they lay 4 to 7 eggs. These colonies can host hundreds of nests side by side, echoing soft sounds of voices mixing underground. Males and females alternate in caring for the chicks, hunting bees, wasps, and dragonflies with acrobatic flights. Before eating, the bee eater beats insects on a branch to remove stingers, a precise technique showcasing intelligence. Despite its name, it is not an enemy of bees. Its impact is minimal, helping balance insect populations. When dozens fly together under the golden light of dusk, it looks as if the entire sky has grown colorful wings, an unforgettable spectacle of European nature. Number 12. The tireless weaver. Masked weaver bird, Plosius vellatus. Among the reeds of African ponds, the masked weaver is a restless and perfectionist artist. With intense yellow plumage and a black mask highlighting its lively eyes, the male spends days intertwining palm leaves, grass fibers, and flexible stems. The result is a perfect sphere, suspended over water, where love takes shape. Each nest is a handcrafted masterpiece, and the process can take up to 10 days of continuous work. If the female is impressed, she lines the interior with feathers and lays eggs. If not, the male destroys it and starts from scratch. Some build over 20 nests per season, challenging fatigue and wind. The weaver's dedication to perfection has inspired research on biological architecture and instinctive engineering. In colonies that echo like leather of voices and flapping wings, it teaches a valuable lesson. Persistence is also a form of beauty. Number 11. The coveted nest of the swiftlet, Aerodromus fusiphagus. In the humid, shadowy caves of Indonesia, Thailand, and Malaysia, the discreet swiftlet builds one of nature's most valuable works. The legendary edible nest has no branches, no mud, no leaves, only its own saliva, rich in proteins and glycoproteins, used to form a translucent, durable bowl firmly attached to the rocky walls. Each nest takes around 35 days to complete, and the same pair can produce several per season. When exposed to air, the saliva hardens, acquiring a glossy glass-like texture. These nests have been harvested for centuries by local communities, used in traditional Chinese medicine and cuisine. They are the main ingredient in the famous bird's nest soup, considered an elixir of youth and vitality. Today, collection is controlled sustainably to avoid threatening the species. Amid the echoing caves and the gleaming white bowls, the swiftlet demonstrates that beauty can arise even from the deepest silence. The 10 most incredible bird nests in the world. Prepare to discover true wonders of nature, where ingenuity and beauty unite in astonishing constructions. Number 10. The majestic bald eagle nest, Haliaeetus leucocephalus. Cross the vast horizons of North America, where the wind blows freely over pine forests and crystalline rivers that cut through the continent, reigns a symbol of power, freedom, and vision. The bald eagle, a bird whose presence dominates not only the sky, but also the imagination of an entire people. It is the emblem of the United States, a national icon, but above all, a masterpiece of nature. Perhaps nothing expresses its grandeur better than the colossal structure it builds with its lifelong partner, the monumental nest, known as an eyrie. These birds are not only supreme hunters, they are instinctive engineers, architects who, with precision and patience, construct true fortresses suspended among the treetops. A bald eagle's nest can reach impressive dimensions, up to 4 meters deep, 2.5 meters wide, and weighing over a ton. Made of interwoven branches, logs, moss, grass, and feathers, the eyrie is more than a home. It is a monument to bond, persistence, and the continuity of wildlife. Unlike many birds, bald eagles form enduring monogamous pairs, remaining together for life. When a pair bonds, their partnership translates into an annual ritual of nest reconstruction and expansion. Each breeding season, they return to the same site, a towering pine, a lone poplar, or even a cliff over the ocean, and reinforce it with new branches. The nest grows year after year, becoming a living structure that ages with the couple. Some nests have been used for decades, passed down through generations, each layer telling a story of resilience. The largest documented bald eagle nest was found in Florida, measuring approximately 6 meters in height and 2.9 meters in diameter, weighing over 2 tons, equivalent to a small car suspended among the trees. The structure was so massive that it deformed the supporting trunk, an almost superhuman feat built solely with the beak, talons, and natural ingenuity of 2 birds. These eagles carefully select construction sites, usually high points near rivers, lakes, or coastal areas, as their diet primarily consists of fresh fish. The strategic location ensures a broad view of the territory and quick access to prey. Preferred trees, such as white pines and American poplars, provide firm support and sufficient height to deter terrestrial predators. When trees are scarce, eagles adapt remarkably, building nests on cliffs or artificial towers. During the breeding period, the female lays 1 to 3 eggs, and both parents share the task of incubation for about 35 days. Their behavior during this time is a spectacle of tenderness and discipline. While one protects the eggs, the other hunts, patrols the territory, and watches the sky for threats. Upon hatching, the chicks are fragile, covered with gray-white down, unable to fly or feed themselves. Parents take turns feeding them fresh fish, demonstrating a dedication rarely imagined in such formidable predators. Chick growth is rapid but requires constant vigilance. Despite its enormous size, the nest can become a site of competition. In times of food scarcity, the strongest chick often dominates its siblings, a natural behavior known as siblicide, ensuring the survival of the fittest. It is a reminder that even amid nature's beauty, the struggle for life never ceases. Over weeks, the nest becomes a true living fortress. Layers of branches, feathers, and bones accumulate. The base hardens with material compaction, and new layers of moss keep the structure insulated and stable against wind and rain. Maintenance is continuous, a natural process executed with precision. Some eagles reuse the same nests for 20 to 30 years, a testament not only to the partner's fidelity, but also to their devotion to home. Beyond its biological function, the bald eagle's nest carries deep symbolism. It represents harmony between strength and care, aggression and tenderness. For Native American peoples, the eagle was considered a messenger between the human and spiritual worlds. Its feathers were used in sacred ceremonies and purification rituals, associated with courage, wisdom, and divine vision. An intact nest symbolized prosperity and protection and was never disturbed. Those who destroyed it, it was said, would bring misfortune to the entire village. The choice of the bald eagle as the US emblem was deliberate. When the nation's founders sought a symbol to represent the American spirit, they found in this bird a reflection of their ideals: independence, vigilance, and freedom. Few at the time knew that centuries later, the species would face a devastating population collapse. During the 20th century, bald eagles nearly disappeared. Illegal hunting, habitat destruction, and especially the use of pesticides like DDT, which weakened eggshells, drastically reduced populations. By the 1960s, fewer than 500 breeding pairs remained across the continental US. It seemed the end of a symbol, yet the story took a different turn. Thanks to environmental protection laws, pesticide bans, and reintroduction programs, the species recovered remarkably. In 2007, the bald eagle was officially removed from the endangered species list, marking one of modern conservation's greatest success stories. Today, seeing one of these giants soaring over a river or building its colossal nest is witnessing the power of nature and humanity's ability to learn from its own mistakes. Populations have grown, and many pairs now occupy urban and rural areas, adapting to transformed environments. The annual nesting cycle has become a ritual of renewal. As winter ends, eagles return to the same pine where they raised chicks the previous year. The first weeks are devoted to repair and expansion. New branches replace old ones, and the interior is lined with soft herbs, feathers, and lichens. Each movement is coordinated, each branch chosen with care. The sound of snapping branches, wing beats, and eagle calls compose a natural symphony echoing through the forests. The grandeur of the nest also affects its surroundings. Small birds use spaces between branches to build their own nests. Insects and small mammals shelter in lower parts, creating a vibrant micro-ecosystem. A single bald eagle's construction sustains multiple forms of life. Up close, the nest appears almost architectural. Intertwined branches form a solid base. Smaller twigs, carefully positioned, create a support structure capable of withstanding storm winds and the growing family's weight. In cold regions, eagles line the interior with damp moss, regulating temperature and protecting chicks from the cold. Learning is fascinating too. Young eagles watch their parents build and, upon maturity, instinctively repeat the same behavior. Knowledge passes from generation to generation, not by direct teaching, but through inherited behavior, ensuring the tradition of building the largest nests in the avian kingdom continues. Looking at a complete eyrie, one cannot help but be impressed by its duality. On one hand, it is a fortress, a bastion of strength and survival. On the other, it is a cradle, a home harboring fragility, birth, and renewal, the perfect metaphor for life itself. On cold mornings, when mist covers riverbanks and the sun begins to gild the horizon, one can see the silhouette of a bald eagle in its nest, surveying the world from above, motionless, sovereign. The wind sways the branches, the river murmurs below, and time seems to bow to its presence. Its home is more than shelter. It is a living monument to species continuity and nature's triumph. The majestic bald eagle nest is more than a biological curiosity. It is a universal symbol. It represents patience in adversity, union that withstands storms, and the eternal bond between strength and tenderness. In every intertwined branch is a piece of history. In every added layer, the silent promise that life continues despite everything. And when we look to the sky and see an eagle gliding over frozen lakes or endless forests, we remember that what it carries in its talons is not just food. It is the legacy of survival, wisdom, and hope. Its colossal and sacred nest is the throne of freedom, and in its wings, nature finds its own hymn to eternity. Number 9. The pink colonies of flamingos, Phainopterus roseus. In the shallow lagoons of Africa and the Mediterranean, flamingos create a spectacle of color and movement. With long legs and pink feathers, they gather in colonies of thousands, transforming the horizon into a living pink sea. During courtship, they perform a synchronized dance, stretching their necks, turning their heads, and flapping their wings in perfect harmony, a natural choreography that delights scientists and tourists alike. Each pair then builds a mud cone about 30 centimeters high, molded with the beak, in which they lay a single egg. Incubation lasts 27 to 31 days, with both parents taking turns caring for the egg. At hatching, chicks are fed with crop milk, a nutritious substance produced by both parents. The adult pink coloration comes from carotenoids present in the crustaceans and algae they eat. It is a spectacle of elegance, patience, and cooperation. Pure beauty reflected in the water. Number 8. The fortress nest of the cactus wren, Campylorhynchus brunicapillus. In the arid deserts of Mexico and the southwestern United States, where heat punishes and life seems impossible, the cactus wren builds fortresses among spines. Small, clever, and courageous, it chooses giant cacti such as Cholla, Tilindropuntia spp, or saguaro to construct its nests. These oval-shaped structures, 18 to 30 centimeters long, have a narrow lateral entrance leading to an internal chamber lined with feathers and plant fibers. The tunnel serves as a natural defense against snakes and owls, while the cactus's spiny body protects the nest from nearly all predators. Each wren maintains several active nests, some for raising chicks, others just for sleeping. During the day, the heat is extreme. At night, the cold is biting. Yet these birds survive thanks to intelligence and persistence, transforming a hostile environment into a welcoming home. Amid the spines and the orange sunset, the wren's song echoes like an ode to resilience and life. Number 7. The fortress of the African dwarf bittern, Scopas umbretta. Along Africa's swampy edges, the discreet African dwarf bittern builds nests capable of supporting the weight of a human. Externally, they resemble large domes of branches and mud. Inside, they reveal true biological fortresses, resistant, secure, and complex. Each structure can reach 1.5 meters in diameter, weigh over 20 kilos, and incorporate around 8,000 intertwined twigs. The entrance is a camouflaged slit leading to a 60 centimeter tunnel that reaches a central chamber, protected from heat and predators. Interestingly, the pair continues to renovate the nest even outside breeding season, as if performing a sacred ritual of union and belonging. Some researchers believe this practice strengthens the bond between partners and ensures territorial occupation for generations. Called by many the architect of African birds, the African dwarf bittern exemplifies persistence and natural harmony. Number 6. The living volcano of the Australian mound builder, Lepua ocellata. In the dry forests of eastern Australia, the Australian mound builder breaks all known rules of bird reproduction. Instead of using its body to incubate eggs, the male transforms the very earth into a natural oven of life. He digs a massive pit, fills it with leaves, branches, and bark, and covers everything with sand. As the organic material decomposes, the released heat maintains the ideal temperature for incubating the eggs, around 33 degrees C. The female lays between 2 and 30 eggs, and the male spends weeks measuring the temperature with his beak and feet, adjusting the amount of sand like a living thermometer. When the chicks hatch, they dig their own way to the surface and emerge already capable of flight, having never seen their parents. This ancestral instinct-driven method makes the mound builder a true guardian of the fire of life, a symbol of the adaptive perfection of Australian nature. Humans have always considered themselves the great builders of the planet. We create skyscrapers, bridges, and cities that defy time. Yet, when we look at the creations of birds, we are reminded of something essential. Nature builds with soul, not ambition. While our buildings require machines and calculations, these small creatures construct with what the world gives them, and they do so with art, patience, and purpose. The nest is more than a shelter. It is a symbol of trust, care, and the cycle of life. Every piece of straw placed with the beak represents hope. Every song sung atop a tree announces the faith that tomorrow will come. There is something profoundly human in these gestures. Watching a bird dedicate days and nights to building its home teaches us about love, resilience, and humility. It reminds us that everything on Earth has value, from the fallen leaf used as a foundation to the silk thread that supports an egg. In a fast-paced world full of noise and concrete, these tiny builders invite us to pause, breathe, and admire. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Also, check out other interesting videos appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.